asked. I said, I wish I could have best dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is. No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have best dry bacon. Well, I mean, you know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm back. Restart the speech. Who knows what I was saying? No, I was just talking about the fact that obviously Tim has done a 180 on his I know now I probably, oh goodness me. But once I actually start out on time. Hey, you have nice lips. Well, thank you. I just put some lipstick on. It's like the one piece of makeup I did wear tonight because I'm such an avid beauty person. Oh, thanks. Yeah. I appreciate it. Hey, so just come on in. I'll restart. Oh my gosh. Somebody said put my sound in. Finally, it came in. I heard people's comments, and then I heard that we can't hear. So I appreciate it. That's why we're a community. Oh, anyway. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me take a sip of my. Anyway. Okay. Technical difficulties. It happens to the best of us. Okay. All right. Well, at least it's not when I'm playing the video. Anyway, so Sarasota Tim obviously has eye surgery tomorrow. And as a registered nurse, I'm interested to know what his prep instructions are. I found out very little about his cholesterol numbers yesterday because he only gave me one number. And so I really didn't have enough information to really make an assertion really fully about his cholesterol picture. Obviously, his cholesterol is high enough that it's meant that our good friend Sarasota Tim has seemingly made a 180 in his approach to his diet. And if you haven't actually watched this video, I've only kind of scanned through it. So I'm not fully sure of everything he speaks about in this video. One of the things I could go on about was that he seemed to be quite irritated that people assumed he was doing a carnivore diet, which is what I thought he had spoken about before. And he actually spoke that he was actually more on the Atkins diet, which I've never heard Tim talk about the Atkins diet before. So it's quite interesting. And so, yeah, it hits. How can he drive with one eye? With difficulty, squirrel bait. With difficulty. I don't think it's easy to drive with one eye. And I don't wish to make light, obviously, because I am somebody who's in the healthcare field. And one of the reasons why I started to go more to psychiatric mental health was that I have patients who will have medical comorbidities and medical disorders that lead them to feel more depression, more anxiety, especially there are a lot of different medical reasons for people to actually have psychiatric illnesses from a disease process. For example, there are a lot of neurocognitive disorders as people begin to age that are due to Alzheimer's disease or neurocognitive diseases. And this is where you start to see people declining in their cognitive and motor functions. And so not everything that is to do with psychiatry is necessarily around people having what people think as sort of traditional psychiatric illnesses. It encompasses quite a lot of different areas, deliriums that are brought on through medications, drugs that people can take. I mean, it encompasses so many different things. So yeah, it can be quite interesting. Yeah, what do you call a fish with one eye? Yeah, and I also believe fully in laughter too. So obviously when we come in here, obviously we do come here to have some fun in the chat and obviously to take a look at getting Tim ready for his surgery tomorrow morning and giving him our best wishes over here and wishing him all the best, because I have a funny feeling if you were here last night and watching the live stream, our great friend Sarasota Tim had actually sort of I feel like he may have watched it, and somebody said he was probably going to watch it because some of the things that he talks about with his diet and watching his exercise, it really starts to make me consider that our good friend Tim has been watching the channel. So anyway, without further ado, let's get over here. And I appreciate you all being here. I forget, because I'm terrible sometimes at making sure I get my own channel properly done. If you have not had an opportunity to hit the likes on the way in here, please do so. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone for being here and being here on a Sunday, because I don't usually live stream on a Sunday. And I think I do want to announce too, since we're kind of in the announcement phase this evening. Obviously, it's Groundhog Day, and our good friend Puxatony Phil saw his shadows, and we've got another 6 weeks of winter. That's what the groundhog says. And this is a groundhog too for our friend Sarasota Tim, because just this time last year, he had also had eye surgery. The difference is I believe the eye surgery video garnered him around 75,000 views. And this particular one is not anywhere near the number of views that he has had. Sharon says, he always says it in the comments, he doesn't say they are your comments. The fact that he talked about moderation, and it was exactly the language I used last night around diet, is very interesting, because I would not think that I would be the internet expert that our friend Tim would come to watch. But anyway, I've spent him up to 1.25. He's taking care of his eye health, at least with the sunglasses. It's morning chat. Let's without the apostrophe. We'll let him pass on that one, since he's got, obviously issues with his eyes. Talk health and diet. All right, Tim, take it away. And like I said, this is obviously let me make me small. Obviously, this is more my wheelhouse. Actually, I'll make me small to the side. I think that worked from yesterday. This is obviously more my wheelhouse, because I am a healthcare professional. And despite people saying I shouldn't talk about my education and expertise, I think when it comes to me discussing matters around health, the fact that I have an unencumbered license, meaning I have no strikes against it. I'm not in any type of probationary license like our good friend Dr. Kenneth Berry for the multitude of disciplinary actions. And I think people thought I was going after him talking about the actual diet that he recommends, which I never even talked about that necessarily, except for the fact around atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. I talked more about his actual actions in putting his patients in harm's way at his medical practice in regards to his prescribing of controlled substances / narcotics, which these are all things listed by the Department of Health in Tennessee. It's nothing that I fabricated. His use of dirty instruments, the trocars, he was reusing these in order to put pellets directly into, and usually though you inject those directly into people's buttocks, the trocars, and they're supposed to be a single use. He was doing some very unclean things. So I would think that was, good. But anyway, like I said, I do have a bit more background. I don't do ophthalmology. I'm just going to preface that. It's not one of my areas of expertise. My grandmother did have glaucoma, but that does not make me an expert. I do have my pathology book here. If we do need to reference to anything on the disease of glaucoma.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota, Tim, coming to you from Nathan Benderson Park here at the tower on a very gloomy day. We went from freezing cold about a week ago every day, and we had rain, and then we had 2 days, I don't know, maybe 3, of chilly but very sunny, amazing temperatures, like 65, which wasn't really chilly. It was just kind of cool and mild. And then it got hot, and now we're back to no chance of rain, but look, a very gloomy sky. And so you say, well, Baker, why do you have sunglasses on? Well, it's embarrassing to look like a stoner. I have red eyes from my glaucoma.
I don't know why you're embarrassed about. Oh gosh. Oh, Tim. what a stop. What a pause story for Tim. Oh no. Drop it in the chat which eye you think is the one affected by the glaucoma. No, I shouldn't say that. Hey, that voice. Bella says that voice. I know. Oh, minimalist. And you have one pair of sunglasses you bought at Walgreens 5 years ago for $9.99. How many has Tim bought since then? Well, I mean, Passive 101. I think what you haven't obviously been able to understand is the need to get your buy me a coffee link somewhere so that you can purchase more sunglasses. I don't call myself neither a minimalist or a massive consumer. I tend to try to be, I tend to buy things that I think are, I'd like, that I think are good quality, that will last, and I buy them as infrequently as possible. I'm sure I've been seen in this sweatshirt more than once. But if I said how much money I spent on this sweatshirt, people would probably have a heart attack. So it's kind of that sort of end of the spectrum for me sometimes. So, yeah. Oh, he looks like an alcoholic? He does look not sober with this eye. This is not a good look. And, I mean, obviously it's concerning because I know he is quite young. I mean, my grandmother started to get glaucoma, I would say, much later in her time. And and it did really affect her because once you start to lose your sight, it really does mean that you're limited. And obviously, Tim relies on being sighted in order to produce his YouTube videos. I don't know, I mean, it's not great. I mean, my grandma used to really have a tough time with it. She was driving when she shouldn't have been. That's all I can say. Yeah, sorry for me. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing too, is that I think what Tim is not remembering is that he is, and we all pretty much are, of a generation where we are beginning to have certain things happen because we're aging. Now, a lot of these things, if you're following up with your providers and you're getting things checked and they're looking at things ahead of time, then you're going to have a better chance of aging well. And especially if you're mitigating your risk factors and obviously ensuring certain parts of your lifestyle are better for your health. I mean, it's pretty basic. I mean, it's nothing that most of us in healthcare, that's what we want to try to promote because we understand the benefits of diet and exercise, especially physical activity. Today, Junebug and I took a lovely, oh gosh, I hope I'm not coming in and out too much. I can see my wireless is wanting to go out on me. Went out and took a nice hike out in the woods. And I made sure to eat very healthfully throughout the day and kind of, that's kind of the best thing to do. But yeah, Tim is definitely out here being the captain of the sad fishing boat and trying to get some buy me a coffees. Because I promise you, last year when he was getting 75,000 views on his eye surgery video, he was probably getting a substantial amount of people sending buy me a coffees to him. His channel views, I mean, have really gone down. I mean, I'm talking this time last year, eye surgery. I'll show you in at the very end, 75,000 views. This year, he's got next to nothing. He's, comparatively 3 or 4,000, if that. So I'm sure he looks, I'm sure it's killing him. He can't milk it like he used to. The sad fishing, as they call that, too. This is sad fishing for sympathy. And sympathy in the form of financial donations is Tim's favorite way to feel better. Keep going, Tim.
I put my eye drops in this morning. Maybe they're not too bad. I'll go without them. And we'll walk and talk here a little bit because I haven't answered the as many as I normally do, the comments, but of course I never stop reading them. And I wanted to acknowledge everybody that is wishing me well for tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. For when I get a needle stuck in my eye. In this eye right here.
I mean, even with his, really, Tim? Tim had to point out which eye was the one that's going to have the surgery tomorrow. One, he feels the need to touch the eye. Please keep the hands away from your eyes, Tim. Especially after surgery, you want to keep that area as clean as possible. That's my recommendation. Secondly, I would think that, yeah, it's pretty obvious which eye that was, Tim. So I'm curious what he's going to have to do. Like I said, the night before, was he having to go what we call MPO? Is it just local anesthesia? So he's not having to worry if he does not eat ahead of time? Or is he just limited to water and sips of water and meds? A lot of this could have probably been for Tim, if he had been seeing an optician ahead of time and getting the eye, they do all those different eye checks. I've had different variety of eye stuff. The one where they, put those drops in your eyes and you walk around the store like Target, because that's where my optician, one of them was, for a while they get that dilation going and they look to see how that looks. I've had the one where they've looked behind my eyes to see if I've had any signs of any of the retinal type of, see if there's any glaucoma. I don't know. I've had a bunch of eye stuff going on. So far, it's been good, though. And I obviously have signs of cataracts coming in. So my optician told me that I need to wear very good sunglasses outside, and I should not be outside without sunglasses. And that because I have light colored eyes and had lived in areas of high altitude and so forth, that's why I have had cataracts more. So anyway, you think T-Bucket's his nurse? That's what I'm curious about, because somebody has to be obviously picking him up and dropping him off for his procedure. I don't know if JJ and Bev are coming from out of town to assist with Tim, but or is his sister coming in? Somebody's getting him over there. But Tim, I think, I hope he's learning his lesson to keep up with his eye health. His eye health. Oh, keep going, Tim. I'm sorry you're having to go through this, but it should be a lesson to anybody who's younger. Do not ignore going to the opticians starting at age 40 to ensure that everything is healthy with your eyes. I can promise you, I now wear glasses. Admittedly, they're not very high prescription, but enough that I feel that I don't do well without wearing glasses. I'd rather wear them and not strain my eyes. And so I've been wearing glasses now probably since, I want to say 20, I want to say 2019 maybe was when I started wearing prescription glasses and contact lenses. And so in my late 40s was the first time I really needed to start wearing them. And I've been but I was not having any need to wear them before. So I think a lot of times maybe the use of the computer. Anyway, keep going, Tim. Tell us about
They're going to put me to sleep.
They're going to put you to sleep.
He's going to go in there and do his magic. And I don't know, within an hour, it's a very quick thing. I'll be out of there. And
so he's going under full sedation. Oh, I wonder what they're giving him. Propofol is often popular because it has great, quick recovery for a patient, especially with these types of surgeries. I want to say when I've had quicker surgeries, they've used propofol with me. I don't think that's what they used when I had my one for all my nasal work I had to have done, like the grafts and all the stuff to fix my deviated septum and all that stuff. I don't think so. But this is not the first time that Tim's had this surgery to his eye. I think that he really should have started to think more about what he, so it's a lesson to be learned, Tim. You should have been following up with your opticians earlier, checking these things out. It's worth spending the money. I want to thank my super chat though. MK, thank you. Hey, MK. Hey, been off the grid for a bit, but miss you and wanted to send my support. Grad school is kicking my butt. Oh, well, I'm excited to hear that you are in grad school. That's exciting. That's so exciting. I understand because grad school is kicking mine too. But it's so lovely to hear from you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's lovely to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to hear from you. And I am promising I need to give a foodie because her health has been out of control. So yeah, you've noticed that the only car in the parking lot by the stairs is a garnet red Cadillac SUV, just like Tammy's. Ooh, interesting. Where was that? Where did you see that? Was that in the video? It was the one on the the actual video of the gun, or this video? Are we going to see it here? Let me know in the chat. They have to use a double dosage of propofol. The funny thing about propofol is that, or not so funny. Obviously, it has its history due to the anesthesia being used with Michael Jackson and the one that gave him his fatal respiratory failure and led to his sad demise. I wouldn't want anyone to necessarily pass from that type of situation. And I used to have patients that we would recover from propofol having cardioversions, and they would all tell you it felt like the best sleep that they had ever had in their life. And they would sometimes come out very chatty, like very energetic. It was an interesting thing to see how much that actual medication, or anesthesia, I should say, has an effect on our patients at the heart hospital. All right, Tim, keep letting us know. Okay, so you're going fully under. Okay, so that makes me then consider that at midnight or whatever the time frame that Tim will not be able to even do coffee. He will be having to go strictly nothing by mouth, MPO as we call it. And he will need to be only potentially taking, say, things like his blood pressure medications with sips of water in the morning. A lot of times they don't want you to not take your blood pressure medications because obviously you're going into surgery and they rather keep your blood pressure under control. So that's often medication, especially metoprolol. They'll want you to take that. Some medications they may not want you to take prior to surgery. And so anything that you are taking needs to be clearly explained, even if you don't think it's relevant to, say, the ophthalmologist in Tim's case. All of these medications are relevant when it comes to surgery. Okay, Tim, take it away.
Coming out of my anesthesia, and I'll have a patch on. And then the next day I go back for him to remove the patch and take a look at his work and make sure everything is okay. And then I'm sure I'll have some follow-up visits. But starting today or tomorrow morning when this all happens, we want to have countdown of days go by quickly so that I'm back to pretty much where I'm at right now, where I still will have to take drops, but hopefully the pressure will stay low. And I might not need to take as many drops or as often. I don't know. I have to talk about all of that. And I know that I'll be incorporating.
I don't know, Tim. I feel that you may need to be prepared that you could be on these glaucoma drops for the rest of your life for that eye. I think they're just trying to help manage the progression of the disease. I don't know if the disease, now that it's actually there, is able to be anything but managed at this point. And obviously the surgery is to try to retain as much of your sight as they possibly can. I think that I don't know. I'm not your doctor. I'm just making some, potential assessment, since this is the second time they're doing the surgery. And usually people that generally, I don't know if, once it's at this type of level, I think kind of probably being on the drops, those 2 drop sets or whatever, might be part of your routine for forever, Tim. Might be something you might have to become comfortable having to do on the regular. Keep a close eye on the other eye.
Because of the surgery that I have to take. So I got a whole bag of drops. I don't even know which ones. So I'm going to go over all that in the morning because it is kind of confusing of which ones, how often, 5 minutes in between.
Yeah.
And I just look at my eye. It's so red. How
does he not know which is his drops of drops? They're like in a specific order as well. There's like a red cap and a blue cap. And I can't remember the 2 drugs. I know I would know them if I saw them written down, because I've put them in people's eyes before. So I'm sure somebody probably knows better in the chat than I do. 7 years ago, I probably could have told you these 2 drugs off the top of my head. They're not the drugs that I work with as much now. So they're kind of sitting in the back of my memory. Yeah. Come on, Tim. You're supposed to have these better marked. That's why you're supposed to get like a little Sharpie and mark things on your containers so you know what's going on. Don't take them out the boxes. Mark them and write stuff on them so you know what's going on. For goodness sake, he is sad fishing, isn't he? He's definitely milking it for sympathy, MK. He's definitely, I think, on the sad fish here. It is hard. I understand. Nobody, you do have to stay very regimented. I work in nursing. I care for a patient in the home, and I have to keep a very strict routine with the patient on the days that I work, and routines with the medications. There's a whole big pulmonary hygiene routine that requires being performed twice a day, but it's necessary and it can't be just like shrugged off, and that's just kind of the things that are part of what happens when you're managing any type of disorders or conditions. Yeah, Tim, you're going to be, you're going to get comfortable with those drops. You're probably asking, what? This to me at this point, it's this. I'm sorry. He's coming out. I know I need new drops, but he's coming.
No. I simply asked. I said, I wish I could have that dry bacon. Well, you know what that is.
Yes, Tim is asking for a nurse with a purse. All right, Kim, carry on.
I suspected when I started sharing my glaucoma and eye doctor visits with you guys back in, over a year ago, that it would accelerate so quickly. I thought, what's he talking about? Glaucoma. I wear readers but anyway, man, that first doctor I saw, he kind of got mad at me. He was just saying, "What do you want me to do? You haven't been a doctor in 40 years. We could have prevented this or slowed it up."
Tim met his version of him as a doctor. I doubt the doctor just said that sharply, like, "Oh, it's just, you haven't been here." But I'm sure he was trying to explain that, the disease has been progressing, and since he had not been somebody keeping up with his optical visits, because everybody, once they reach 40, no matter how good or bad you feel your health is, especially if you've had a history of having to be on any type of blood pressure medication, you definitely should be at that time seeing your optician. I would strongly and highly recommend it. Watching and Judging You says all had to be 5 minutes apart. Yes, it's 5 minutes apart, but they do have different color tops: pink, blue, gray, white, yellow. Now it's blue 2 times a day, yellow 1 times a day for life. And there's an order to it as well. For example, thank you for sharing that information, Watching and Judging You. And I think there is an order. So I think you would have to do the blue and then wait and then do the yellow, or the yellow, and you do have to do it in that specific order as well, in order for it to actually be able to work effectively as it is prescribed. So yeah, who's going to help him? Well, Lovescape, are you available? Love the Cape, CC? Because he's looking for a nurse with a purse. This is Tim is his, he's been looking for a sweet little thing. He needs someone to come out and care for him. And if you got money, that's even better, because his coffee donations have been drying up and his views are definitely down. And he hasn't really been, I think he's been more concerned about his health, especially his eyesight, because he hasn't cranked out as many videos recently or something. I know he did that whole thing with the Walmart shirt trying to be funny and stuff. He obviously was just trying to be funny. I mean, this is probably the greatest achievement of his life, is this YouTube channel that he has. And it's, he's got us all, giving him, a rough time with his dry begging and sad fishing and terrible Social Security advice, which reminds me. So I was going to talk about, I think that's when I discovered my microphone was out. On Tuesday night, I will be live streaming with old guy Money, our friend David. We're going to take apart. We're going to discuss. Primarily, he will be discussing one of Sarasota 10's most recent Social Security videos. It was the one where he talked about everybody was going to make all this extra money, or he found some way that people were going to make extra money or something. So we're getting together Tuesday night at 7 p.m. and we're going to do a dual live stream. And so you'll be able to see that one. So yeah, just wanted to give you that heads up. And if you want to join the Life and Vibe community as well, there's a link, and it's a $2.99 tier. This is like my sales pitch, I guess. I saw dry begging in the chat, so I thought I should dry beg out here for a minute myself. So anyway, if you do want to join the Life and Vibe community, it's one tier only. It's $2.99. Show support. And then if you want to send, and I thank you all for those who've been very generous, sending me some recent coffee donations to help me stay warm this winter and to help me through grad school, because it's got a lot of stuff coming up. And so I appreciate the support, so that I can not tax the American taxpayers. How about that? And yeah, I got all sorts of Nightbot stuff saying be kind and respectful in the chat. And all sorts of stuff going on. I got all sorts of things going on today. All right, Tim. I had my public service announcements here. Yes, keep telling us, Tim, what's going on.
You know, you had your eyes checked, you know, years ago. I just thought it was basically like when you turn 40, you got to start wearing, you know, C-rights. Look at this place. I own it. Normally on the weekends during this time of the year where they have the rowing, maybe it's over. I don't know. There's nobody here. It's just now about 2 minutes till 8 a.m. So I'm getting some steps in. I'm going to make a video.
Good luck with those, Ann. I understand that there has been great improvements with cataract surgeries nowadays, and they even do them for puppy dogs and help people. So I'm hoping that all of those procedures go well for you. I'm not familiar with the second one, so you're going to have to fill me in on that one a little bit more. Is that like a lower and upper blepharoplasty? The trichiasis surgery? Is that something of that nature? I'm sure I'm going to have to get a blepharoplasty, at least on the upper eyelids at some point. And sometimes you actually want to get those upper blepharoplasties because as the, you know, skin on our eyelids starts to actually obscure the eyes, it can cause, you know, changes in your vision, not in a good way. And so as your eyelids actually start to obscure the eye, there is a certain level where Medicare will cover that surgery for, you know, as part of a, you know, actual needed surgery. You get a plastic surgery. So you look 10 years younger. And so it actually is very beneficial because it can help with actually a lot of things that could be problematic for your vision due to the hooding of the eyes from the eyelids. So there's actually some things with surgeries that can be beneficial. For example, yeah, I went through a lot through my deviation repairs, and I had a rhinoplasty, all sorts of stuff to help me breathe, basically. And yes, I breathe great now. It's worth it, but it was a lot of recovery. So I wish you well with the recoveries on those. I hope it goes well. It's medically necessary, not just oh yes, absolutely. And the good news is that sometimes you can get the knowing Ray away from your eyes though. Oh well, yeah, you don't want to use them by your eyes. That's dangerous. I wouldn't recommend. That's why it's good to have the taken care of. And yeah, I mean, if you have a benefit from it though, other than, you know, just obviously aesthetic, obviously that's what I'm saying. The blepharoplasty, it's a medical necessity. Part of it, the sort of part of the positive side effect is, you know, for some people they have an aesthetic benefit from it, they feel too, along with the actual procedure itself. So it's kind of, you know, 2 for 1.
Later today, of my newest acquisition, I got a new firearm, and I want to go over it with you guys and show it to you. It's very nice. I'm very happy with it, and I'll be eschewing a couple of the other ones that I own because I don't need to have an armory. I mean, how many does a man need, right? Well, you ask some people that, they got a whole safe full of them, but I don't need that many. I'm just changing it.
Well, and I'm sure you still are looking beautiful regardless. So I'm just going to say that. But I know that obviously a lot of times, like I said, that these things around the eyes, it's going to help you with your vision, maintaining vision and other areas with your eyes. And so I just wish you the best on that. I know it's a lot. And, you know, I've got cataracts. And like you see my eyes, I'm probably going to have these procedures. In fact, I know I will be. And obviously, I'm on the glaucoma watch because my grandmother had glaucoma. So there is the familial aspect to that. So I do have to kind of keep an eye out. In fact, in the UK, it was one of the reasons why you would start getting looked at with your eyes younger was if you had sort of family members with histories of glaucoma. So it's definitely something you do want to take seriously. Yeah, the doctor's going to skew that eye again. Yeah, lots of relief. That's a great way to, well, Bill, I'm glad. Yeah, thank you. He's broke. He's selling his guns. Sorry, I'm all over. There's so many great comments. Sorry. Oh, all right, Tim. I mean, I hope Tim is going to be realistic about what the surgery can do for him. That's why I'm concerned about his thoughts around the eye drops, because I think he needs to be a little bit more realistic that some of these things, they're, like I said, they're more to help manage what's happening and to slow potentially the progression rather than an absolute full-on curative for Tim at this point.
It up. And why am I doing all this?
Okay.
I am OCD. I get on something and that is it. And the last one didn't work out and I got rid of it. And then I'm like, hey, so I go on YouTube and I'm watching YouTube videos about them. And I'm like, oh, I need that. And as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever you put your thoughts to is what you give strength to. We used to say that all the time back in the car business. If you start thinking about blowing out, that's what we call quitting. If you start thinking about blowing out, you might as well go ahead and blow out because you're going to end up blowing out anyway. Once you've made up in your mind that you don't like it there, go ahead and blow out. But so today's the last day of having two eyes. And yeah, man, it's like a drag that I got to go through the rehab and, the medicine and getting my eye, kind of back to normal again. I do want to say though.
Okay, I'm glad he's circled back to the eye because for a moment there I was trying to figure out what he was talking about. I know I went off on a tangent for a minute, but I didn't think I was that confused with what you were saying, Tim. Okay, so he's back to this eye surgery. Well, I'm sure you're thinking about it, Tim, because the last one didn't go so well and you were very upset about it. So I think you need to really think and manage the expectations around this procedure for tomorrow. Yeah, and we still want to know who's picking you up from surgery.
How much I appreciate everybody thinking good for me. Now let's talk about the next thing. We're talking about health. This is a health video. So I made that video yesterday talking about this carnivore, and Jim Bauer sent me a couple of videos. I did watch them where this guy questioned.
Okay, here's Tim going off about his carnivore diet, or not. He wasn't doing the carnivore, so I'm confused. I thought he said he had been. I don't know. I react to occasional videos of Tim's, and occasionally I will read it, peruse a transcript. I don't really sort of avidly watch every one of his videos. I don't know every aspect of what's going on. Sometimes I watch Carl too, in order just to get a summary of his videos, and Grifters Anonymous and Blind Views when he talks about them, and Miss Vicky and other people, to get more sometimes. And they watch me. So we all have to combine each other a little bit. So yeah. Oh, hey, Catherine, how you doing? Kia Ora peeking in between meetings. It's tomorrow, so it's Monday. See, this Muppet is deep in thought. Well, he is, and he's an absolute what's the word I'm looking for? It will come to me. Obviously, I've live streamed too much. My brain is becoming tired. I've done a lot of schoolwork. He's an absolute oracle. How about that one?
Dr. Ken Berry throwing these questions at him. Oh, if it's so good, why isn't everybody doing it? If it's this, why isn't this? If that is, why ain't this? And he's always got these answers. And guess what? Somebody sent me a video yesterday of that watched my video. I'm getting all this stuff sent to me. A man. I forgot what state they were in or whatever.
Damn, every time he said lady and then cleared his throat and said man, makes me think it was a lady. Why'd you change it to man? I don't know. That's one of the signs where I think that Tim's not always being truthful when I hear him do that little throat clear.
Was eating 6 or 8 pounds of meat and cheese a day for 8 months and got cholesterol breakout on their eyelids, their hands, cholesterol hands, all this fatty, turned into a monster. And so I was reading the comments on that video, and it's like, who eats that much cheese a day or this or that? So, and they said the person that got.
I can tell you who eats that much cheese. Chantel Marie, Foodie Beauty. Somebody who's ate so much cheese that she actually had to be rushed to an emergency room in Canada due to the enormous amount of cheese she ate that I believe was potentially blocking up her colon. So she literally had a cheese emergency. And so I have known people to eat consistently that much cheese, probably. I hate to say it. Tim got into like a rabbit hole on this cholesterol, didn't he? How I thought you were talking. Who is Jim Bauer? Is that somebody that's a subscriber of Tim's? I thought Jim Bauer was like a preacher. I must be wrong.
This was influenced by the internet, someone they saw on the internet to do this carnivore diet. And then I read another one that everybody's quitting that now. And everybody says all you need is to eat the rainbow, like the doctors say, eat little portions, not cakes and pies and sugar. Just eat the natural food, plant.
Eat the rainbow. Eat small portions. I wonder who was saying that last night. Tim, were you watching me? Surprised he didn't strike my video.
Plant-based, food-based, meats, whatever.
Plant-based? Who was talking about plant-based last night? The French conundrum. Oh, well, you know, there's certain things about French foods that I enjoy. He's not truthful. He's quickly making adjustments to fit in his made-up rhetoric. He's going on a health journey. Yeah, Lori, and it sounds like exactly what I was telling him to do last night for managing his cholesterol. That's what I find so intriguing about this morning chat, because somebody, and I wish I could give proper credit, said that he would be doing exactly this today. And he would be watching my live, and this is what Tim would be doing. And he's out here. Just listen. Some of the stuff, it's plant-based. This is sounds like I'm talking. Tim is talking. Tim, I should copyright strike you. You're stealing my material. I went to years of school for this stuff. Years.
No fried stuff, no sugar, the white flour, all the things we know that blow you up. Get plenty of exercise, drink water, and eat right. And don't eat all day long, and eat small portions. And, you know, it just makes sense that would work, because there are plenty of people that are in shape. You see them at the gym. They're not carnivore. And then I'm not saying that carnivore doesn't work, because I don't know where this name carnivore came up. I did Atkins. Atkins is keto. Atkins is carnivore. Carnivore is keto.
Bella, I am so sorry. Oh, well, I am so sorry to hear about your loss, and for the loss for her loved ones and her family. I'm so sorry. I didn't see this coming past when it came up. And you take care of that. And I'm just so sorry. I'm very sorry. That's tragic and very sad. And my condolences to her family and loved ones. That's very sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah. Take care. Yes. And I feel kind of like, oh gosh. No, I'm continuing with sad fishing Tim over here. This is, you know, I think this is why Tim, you know, I think Tim does have something that is quite serious though, because losing your eyesight for somebody who's been sighted their whole life is very dramatic. And it could send him, you know, into, you know, a lot of potential depression if he's not able to get out and, you know, get sharp and get out in his car. I saw from Tim how stir crazy he got just with the weather and him not being able to get out and do things. And he was acting very lost as to what to do with his time and what to do with himself. And so I can imagine if he was hindered by his sight, that it could potentially get him to feel quite stressed, and over time it could lead to depression. I saw it with my own grandmother, and it's not unusual. Like I said, it's dramatic. I think he would find it difficult to adjust, just to how the sort of things that Tim enjoys doing. I think he would find it difficult. All right, Tim, keep going.
And the Atkins diet was carnivore because it didn't include plant-based foods. It was just meat, cheese, and eggs, bacon, stuff like that. I did it. I lost 30 pounds. It was 15, 20 years ago.
Is that the Atkins diet? Just meat, cheese, eggs, and bacon? I thought there was like all sorts of Atkins products. I don't know. I know that Dr. Atkins is no longer with us. I'm not familiar. I always say that, a Mediterranean style diet that is, filled with, fruits and vegetables, and that can be, along the Mediterranean coast. Even if you want the south of France and their cuisine, go ahead. I think that people in Europe have a very different approach to food, except in the UK, where they seem to have as many terrible eating habits as here in the United States about stuff. And I think that Tim, a lot of his diet doesn't show a lot of food groups. I think it's nutritionally limited. And I think that he should definitely try to make some changes. So let's hear what he's going to do. Let's see if he starts to shop for this stuff at Walmart.
And I was really strict with
it. Was he just having a moment?
And I lost weight. And people were telling me it looked like somebody slung the you-know-what out of me,
Oh,
because
wow.
I turned into like a skinny little malnutrition looking. I lost a lot of weight. And I was also on the elliptical every day doing it. I was so hell-bent. It's like I said, I'm OCD. Once I get on something, make my mind up to it, believe me. Whether it be quitting drinking or anything. I don't need any courses or classes or what do you call these people that quit drinking? They go to AA. They got, hey, let me call my friend. Hey, I'm about ready to think about drinking. Help me out. Come save me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound healthy, Tim. It sounds like somebody who's potentially not faced all his substance use issues. I already know that if he's having non-alcoholic beer, that would not be recommended as part of a substance use program. And to actually be this, I guess, arrogant and entitled to make fun of those who have very serious issues with substance use, especially with alcohol. And there are multiple evidence-based studies, Tim, that show that peer support, especially in groups, even such as AA, which has a religious component to it, but people have found success in those peer support programs, and they are ones that we do recommend peer support as part of a psychotherapeutic route for those with these disorders, along with motivational interviewing, motivational enhancement therapies, cognitive behavioral therapies. There's a number of different psychotherapies and pharmacotherapies that we could recommend for somebody with substance use disorder. Maybe some anti-abuse for you, Tim, could be beneficial. But to be so sort of flippant about people with disorders and stating that you can just quit, I think is not necessarily the case, because I can see with that non-alcoholic beer, you haven't really quit. And you're, minimizing of it, I think, says more about it than anything that you realize.
I don't need any of that. I just quit. And for those that use it, I'm not knocking that, but, and it's helped a lot of people. They get their coin, their recognition. Hey, I went 2 days, went 2 years. Just quit. Like I did with cigarettes. When I was a kid, I think I smoked a couple of years when I was, I don't know, 6.
Wow. Tim really doesn't seem to understand substance use. And I don't know if he really just quit. We saw him coming out of a bar in Key West recently. So I think probably why, and this is just my thoughts, my opinions, why you're being so flippant about this is potentially you haven't really quit. Because people who really do take their remission from substance use and they're sort of being able to not use because there's always the addict there. You're just kind of in remission from it, if you may. You're abstaining. I think shows like you really don't have a good grasp around it, Tim. I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily going to specialize with substance use disorders. I have more interest around depression and anxiety disorders more so. But yeah, I think that's Tim.
16, 17,
I just laugh
18 maybe. Never smoked
it's
another
so
one.
bad.
Can't stand them.
Yeah.
So on the health diet thing, because I enjoy foods and it really is,
Yeah,
I mean, of course, the
cough
things that I
syrup.
miss
Oh,
are
gosh.
cakes, and pies. And
Yeah, that cough syrup was something else, Squirrel Bay parody. When he was getting all that cough syrup. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was yeah. He was definitely showing some behaviors there.
bread,
Great.
you know, fried foods and all the things I grew up with. But I will have to eschew that from my diet. But all of this, I can't have a salad or, you know, a couple of carrots, even though they got a lot of sugar in them and stuff, or any of these other things that if you eat too much of it, you know, can cause you to gain weight on carrots, I guess.
How can you be worried about sugar in a carrot when you put 5 creamers into a McDonald's coffee, Tim? Every morning. How can you be worried about the sugar in a carrot? And that's a different type of sugar, too. And it's broken down differently in your body. It's because sugars have a lot of carbohydrates to them. It's a carb. It's a way that you can have a carb without having bread. If you wanted some carbs, let's have carrots. They're much better for you. Maybe if you ate some damn carrots, you wouldn't be having such problems with your eyes. I hate to say it. That's why we eat carrots. Carrots are good for your eyes, Tim. It's not old wives' tale. There are actual properties to carrots that are good to the eyes. I love carrots. How can you be dissing on carrots like that? 5 creamer man.
You know, they turn into sugar or milk. I never really drank milk anyway. I did when I was a kid with dinner. No more. What was I thinking about? I was going to tell you guys. I always do these flashback things. I'm switching gears on you right now. Oh, yeah. I was watching TV this morning, and before the Sunday morning Fox News came on, I'm trying to get the latest on Trump. I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm trying to get the latest on Trump. What has he done? What has he done? And
I don't know if Fox is going to get, well, I mean, they'll give you the latest on Trump, but I don't know how. Oh, Tim, I thought you said you didn't watch the news. That's all I'm going to say. You used to tell your subscribers, don't watch those news shows, you said. They're poison, you said, Tim. Where are you going to have a conviction that you, I mean, I know you have certain convictions that you seem to stay with. You know, you definitely are convicted about spending money and dry begging other people's money. He's on a tangent this morning.
they start playing that music. Remember the sign-off music when we were kids, when the TV went off the air at night or first thing in the morning when it got ready to start? We didn't have 24-hour TV. I was just going to mention that. You guys remember that? Every night it was like, oh, that's the end of TV. I guess it's time to go to bed. They'd sing that.
What did they say?
America the Beautiful, or whatever the song was. And so this morning they started playing it before Fox.
I don't know. When the BBC used to end with the instrumental version of God Save the Queen. I was a kid, and I'm not joking. Literally, there would be an announcer who would come on and they would refer to something on the TV show. So I think they were really there in the building in Shepherd's Bush in the BBC headquarters. And they would say something like, okay, well, it would be like, probably 11:30 at night, because that's the time that the BBC would end when I was a child. You should all be in bed by that point. You got work in the morning. So they would be like, well, I guess that's it for this evening. I hope you're all keeping well, and we'll see you in the morning. Because they didn't even have morning television at that point, I think, in my childhood. And then the picture of the world globe would come up, and off would play a rousing rendition of God Save the Queen in an instrumental version. So I guess they had something similar here in the U.S. in
Fox
Tim's
News,
childhood.
on the Sunday morning Fox News, and it was showing about God Bless America, and that was really good. I'm glad to see him playing that and everything before the news started. So many things have changed, but I read some comments too. Let me switch gears on you again while I'm just thinking.
Shoot, I know a thing or two about in this area about the 700 Club, because this is the Virginia Beach is where the 700 Club comes out of, because the Regent University, where old Pat Robertson had his 700 Club studio, was right here in Virginia Beach. So I know a thing or two about some 700 Club. I fit in so well in this town. All right, Tim, keep going.
I have to say them when I'm thinking them. Oh, enjoy your expensive eggs and this and that, because Trump's going to be adding these tariff taxes. Well, I think that egg price has got to do with bird flu. And I think that
well, Tim, that's the case. And the reason why is because I said in one of my videos that the reason why the price of eggs were high is due to avian flu, which I just read about again on one of my Epicardis website today when I was looking up medications to treat vascular dementia.
Taxes on things that he's going to do, the tariff taxes, are going to be short-lived or transitory. There could be a little hiccup.
Catherine, you don't want to know the 700 Club. Just, I'm going to let you, after this live stream, look up 700 Club on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find an episode of it. And then come back to me on it. Are they swingers? Pat Robertson? I don't know if he was a swinger, but he certainly was a Southern Baptist prosperity preacher who talked a lot about the Lord. The 700 Club is a Christian show. Oh, you're gonna love Pat Robertson. Pat Robertson was a man who had once been a stockbroker on Wall Street, who shockingly found that God paid more money. And I don't know how he did it, but he did. He found out that God paid more money than Wall Street, and he made a lot of money. Regent University is a huge university here. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in our area who go there for law and stuff. Oh, my gosh. Don't even start me. I did not go to Regent University. They have a very good restaurant there called the Swan Terrace. I do have to give them kudos for that restaurant, though. That is a remarkably good restaurant. Okay, keep going, Tim.
Up in supply initially, but
and they have a spa there and everything.
Did you know this? We're going to be 250 years old in July of next year, celebrating 250 years as a nation. Would you believe that more than half of the time so far, we never collected or paid income tax? It was through tariff.
There may be some Native Americans who could disagree with you, Tim, about the 250 years. And I feel like the 250 is arbitrary. Like July the 4th was an arbitrary date that they kind of chose as well. Because I think the sort of difficulties between the British and the people here in the United States at the time, or however it was named, the sort of disagreements going on. All these dates were kind of arbitrary. That's what I learned in my American history classes. And I got an A in that class.
That's how this country became rich, made our roads. The government provided what they do before they got into this crazy wasteful spending. But that's how we got our money. People did not pay income tax. And then they switched it up on us. And now these tariffs, not saying that Trump's going to get rid of income tax. You never kind of can get rid of that. I don't know. But anyway, that's the truth. We've actually been paying income tax less time than the country charged tariffs to collect its revenue, the government. I was watching something else this morning too on YouTube.
Well, aren't tariffs something there may not be a tax on incomes, but they are a tariff levied against a good.
Regarding the news, I watch more news on YouTube from these creators. They got huge channels. I'm talking 400,000 or 500,000 views in a few hours, a couple of days. You're talking about big time play button award and views and making the money, but they're very good. They talk about the politics, and then they have on a split screen, they'll show the sound bites of Fox or CNN, MSNBC, and things like that. And they point out what's really going on in our country.
Yeah, I don't know if any of those sources of media would probably have an objective or less objective view. Sometimes I find it's better to go to sources outside of the United States to find out actually what's happening here, believe it or not. Just for objectivity sometimes. Take the politics out of the news sources.
These people that Trump has appointed to be in cabinet positions and to run certain departments, the Democrats are giving them such a hard time because these are people they're going to look into those people. And because they're the ones.
I think when it's the other way around, the Republicans give the Democrats a hard time about their choice of candidates. What a shocker. It's politics. Oh my goodness, Tim. You're acting like you don't know what happens. And they're all the same. Their self-interests are their own self-interests. Their interest in you, Tim, is probably 0 to none. I mean, especially you. I mean, let's be honest. They all see that big old pot of, Social Security trust fund money sitting there. I mean, who doesn't want to get their hands on a big pot of money?
That have weaponized the DOJ, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, National Security.
NSA, National Security, Tim Off. Hey, Flat Pat, thank you for the super chat. Flat Pat says he is so inarticulate and only has a basic grasp of language that hasn't evolved since he was about 12. Well, Flat Pat, he did get the big book Bible. He got the big book Bible to read in order to expand his vocabulary. And I think Tim has also relied on being sort of someone with what we call in England has the sort of the gift of the gab, bit of the blarney, just comes in there. He just kind of, tries to compliment people and make sure that they are laughing and having a good time. He always, you can kind of see that when he's cracking his little jokes with the drive-through attendants, the McDonald's, who have to be subjected to Tim and his dreadful sense of humor. You can kind of, be aware that he has often limited vocabulary to express himself. But he certainly likes to use language to win money through his buy me a coffees. He certainly got the gift of the gab for dry begging. He certainly seems to have been able to, in the past, had a lot of people send him money. He was getting a lot of views. Anyway, keep going, Tim. Tell us about the fact that you don't watch news shows anymore.
All this stuff, because they are in cahoots like a damn mafia. And it's all going to come back. They're going to be exposed. So why do you think they're trying to smear instead of just asking questions like, are you qualified to be this or that? But they pointed out this. This was Glenn Beck, by the way, that pointed it out.
Oh, Lord. Not Glenn Beck. Oh, goodness. He's watching all the great conspiracy theorists of America. He'll be talking about Alex Jones next and the frogs. Good Lord, Tim. Glenn Beck also had substance use disorders. What is it about these people that are congregating together? Glenn Beck openly talked about his substance use disorder, which I have admiration for anybody who does that. But then some of the tangents, it's like, gosh, these guys, it's like the podcast bros over here, just taking over. None of them seem to like science either. And that makes me concerned because there's a really good reason to have evidence-based practice.
He said, notice how that one that went through the confirmation with flying colors. No problem at all. It was the one that's got to do with providing oil and gas and stuff within our own country, the interior of our country, starting to dig for oil and stuff, and going to put a real threat on OPEC and these other countries. But he said, notice what I don't know if it's a he or she. I don't forget who.
Yeah, real huge threat on OPEC. They're shaking in the boots over there. Because there isn't like an entire rest of the globe that uses, gas products. Oh, Tim. It's not, America's been wise not to use up its own resources and have been trying to obliterate out other people's resources to its own benefit. Why would you guys want to do that? Why would you want to use up your own stuff? That doesn't seem small.
Who it is, it's that person. But notice what they're not doing. They're not investigating the government. But all these other positions that are going to investigate the FBI,
For goodness sake, Tim. Are they going to be investigating you and your misuse of PPP and EIDL money from the U.S. taxpayer? Can I get a vote to investigate that paperwork? And how did Tim get so much loan money when he had his oil coupon change business, which he talked about, and he talked about the fact he didn't have any employees, remember? In that fireside chat, Tim clearly talks about the fact he couldn't get anybody to work his business like he could, and he didn't have the need for an office. So he closed that down. So why did you need $88,000 in PPP and EIDL monies, Tim? Please explain that to me. Can we get an investigation from the government on that then? Can we continue with this? Aren't we supposed to be making sure we don't have fraud? I feel like that was a fraud. He is looking a little bit rough today. I think he's nervous about his surgeries. Tim, you were talking about your health and your diet. How did we get off on this tangent? I still can't get over the fact you don't have an apostrophe there. All right, keep going.
Attorney General's office and all this stuff. These people that were weaponized to protect those senators and those people that are into the big pharmaceutical and into cahoots with all the crookedness that's going on in this country. It's all being exposed. Now, look, you're saying
the big pharmaceutical. Are these the people who are creating the eye drops? They're in cahoots on that eye. That's why Tim's not. It's because Tim, you're going to build more pressure in an eye that's already suffering from pressure issues.
Tim, we all knew, and I did too, that they're crooked as a rattlesnake.
Oh, he still
But
has
did you have
glaucoma.
any idea how much
Not
and how
cured.
deep the state is, and how they literally were trying to become so powerful that they could take all power and rights away from the people of this country? And that's the direction they were going.
Oh, God.
And
I
that's
know.
exactly what they were doing, and almost got there if it wasn't for the grace of God and Donald Trump. I mean, you can take that to the bank. So
I'm so glad that Tim, the political science major from the University of wherever it was, the mean streets of life. This chap back here also get his exercise. Tim is not looking well at all. He has aged remarkably, even in the last year. He is stressed about stuff. He's not raking the money in like he used to, guys. It's stressing him out. Stresses him out that he's literally been told by, I think, some of his subscribers that he just needs that he talks to like behind the scenes, like he just needs to leave it with striking the channels. Like it's not helping him out, that he could lose his channel if he continues that way. So I think and that irritates him because he hates me being out here doing this. Though I know he's watching. Didn't say much about his surgery tomorrow. Like I said, he's going under anesthesia. So I guess he's going to be not being able to eat after midnight. So, and he won't be able to have any coffee. So I hope he's in early. Because that's going to make him very agitated. Because caffeine actually is also a substance that can be abused. And it's actually listed in the DSM-5 with text revision as a actual substance use disorder. And there is a caffeine use disorders, believe it or not, of which sometimes I do worry that maybe I could fall into that. Ah!
When I read a comment about some disparaging thing against Donald Trump, that he is not chosen to be the president of this country and to save our nation and make us great again.
I'm
and
speeding
his
you up on the politics.
intelligent people that he's appointed in these different departments. I think, man, what are you drinking? What are you smoking? Because if you don't see the light now, there's no hope for you. If you're still believing that Biden was good and CNN is telling the truth, then...
Tim, you're going to blow this eye out. You're going to blow the eye out from getting yourself all worked up. What? Is this what he goes on about till the end? Go on, Tim. Keep going. I thought you were going to talk about your health journey.
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you'll get it when we start rocking and rolling like the real United States of America used to be. And it's coming. It's coming fast.
Here's who he voted for. He would
so I just don't get people like that. People that still want to smear hate, and just because they don't want to lose their gig.
Harvard
they don't want to lose their gig. That's what it is. But man, this Kash Patel, that Elon Musk. What about what's his name?
Oh gosh.
The guy that's the Secretary of State, our senator of Florida.
Is he talking about Marco Rubio? Tim, if I know the names of these people better than you, that's concerning.
He just flew in there to Panama City and said, all this is ours now.
No, you can't do that.
You know what? I don't care.
What do you mean? Well, you should. It's inappropriate. I don't really know what to say to that, Tim.
We are the most powerful country with the most powerful military. If we don't, somebody else will. Do you want to be at their mercy?
Really? That's how you want to? Gosh, Tim. This is not the person you want to have over for any dinner party. Can you imagine? Well, we know we don't want Tim over for our house anyway, because he'll be showing everything you own and telling everybody what time you leave the house and probably the code to your garage.
Want to be looking down the barrel of their guns, their authority, their dictatorship? Or do you want the United States to lead? I say let's put America first. We're not out to hurt anybody else, but we're out to show, as a God-blessed Christian nation,
well, we when you just say you're trying to take over another nation, that sounds pretty threatening, Tim. And I'm an American by birth, okay? And I just was raised in the UK and I live in the US. And no, I do not support any of this action. Tim, are you really understanding what you're trying to say over here? Oh my goodness. This worthless piece of nonsense. You know what? I'm trying to be sympathetic for the eye surgery. I know it's, you're going to be on the glaucoma drops for life, Tim. Get used to it. It's going to be expensive. I hope we got some pharmaceutical places that produce this medication here in the U.S. for all your secularism.
This is how you act. And this is what you need to pay. And this is what everybody needs to do to succeed and have a happy life and have a good economy. People have been raping us, stealing from us. And why has that been tolerated?
Oh, for God, Tim, I have to speed you up on. Is this all he talks about at the end? Because I can't with you. You're irritating.
So there's something to say about that, about being together in strength. And that's what we got. I'm very excited about it. So now I'm going to.
Well, you know what, Tim? If you're so excited about it, you know what? I volunteer for you to be the first person to sit out in the infantry squad. You can take the little pew-pews that you got, and your badge and your cowboy hat. And I'll put you out on the front line. There you go. Problem solved. You can that's a way you can pay back that PPP and the IDL loan money. I will make that sacrifice for you, Tim, that you shall be sacrificed first. How about that?
Full area. So the temperatures are mild, about 65 when I got out of the car. It's approaching 68 or so, a little cool breeze because of the clouds. Feels really nice. I'm gonna get my
tank. Flagstaff is a tank, and we're sending Tim to war. He's fighting for us, people. Aren't you proud?
My big time steps in.
Jesus,
a couple of cyclists just went by. They're trying to get their miles in. It's a 3-mile track. I need to buy a bicycle maybe. Put it on back of the Super Crusher and bring it out here and start riding the bike. And that's what I'm going to do regarding my exercise and my diet is I'm going to start exercising like hell. I'm going to start running, walking, biking or something, which I already do, but more. I'm going to watch that food, but I'm going to allow food groups that I know, even though lettuce isn't the most nutritious unless you eat a certain kind,
Midas Touch.
certain vegetables.
I watch for Midas Touch
and just eat in moderation, and when I'm hungry, not because I'm bored or whatever. And I think that I'm going to crush it.
Oh, no, you're not. I think what's going to happen, Tim, is that doctor is going to crush your eye tomorrow. The only thing that's going to get crushed is your eyeball out of your socket from the pressure it's building up. Flat Pat, thank you. It's impressive how a man with low intelligence and no money has amassed so much materialism. It is. And considering that materialism initially has been basically off the backs, when he started to sell his minimalism out on his YouTube audience, a lot of it was based on his being the affable chappy here, and slinging the sausages over at the Publix, and it was just an act. It was an act. He just was. He started to talk about Social Security, and he needed to find more content on that. He wanted to be, I guess, like a lot of these other YouTube personalities, because that's what they are. They've no journalism background. They don't necessarily need to be ethical. I mean, they just show up with a camera. That's why you just, even me, but at least you can look up my medical license and find out I do actually have an actual medical license. And I do know what I'm, speaking around. But there are a lot of people that just have managed to grow very large audiences. And a lot of it is based on people getting out and sharing their thoughts and their opinions on certain items that they believe are happening within the country or even sometimes around the globe. And I think Tim was hoping to be able to grow more from that. And he kind of hit that one out the park with that Social Security video. And that was pretty much it. It's been pretty much going downhill since then. Let's take a look and see, because I did want to show how his channel has kind of progressed, and then we'll wrap it up for this night. And after that rant, Tim, I don't know if my wishes, I always want obviously the doctor to do well for you. I'm a medical professional. I do try to stay professional in that regard. You kind of went off on a rant in the end again, Tim. You don't seem very happy. You seem very unhappy. And there is just to give heads up and not to make anybody feel nervous, but there can be increases in things such as depression as we get older. There is some evidence behind that. Okay, so here we go. I wanted to show some of his videos from a while back ago. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Let's go over to popular, just so that you can see here. Okay, so here is that infamous Social Security that he did. It was like they say a year, but I know sometimes they're over than that. Sometimes it could be like a year and 9 months. You can't really tell. But that was 2.8 million views on that one. Then he went down to this minimalist life. And you can see there's Miss Tammy. And this was another big one. The waiting is a scam. And he could just knock out any of these Social Security. He was getting so many views. Look at that. Look at that. He could talk about health insurance and get 200,000. He talked about his Forerunner, and he would get 140,000 views. Here he is, one of his oldest ones. Look at this, Tim shirtless, getting 91,000 views on this belly band hoster. Now, I remember this video. This is the one where he admitted that he was wrong about Social Security. And Tammy had to correct some of his numbers, and he had to come out with a piece of paper and apologize. This is some time. This is some back in the day. This one I find interesting. People are house poor. The party is over. Price cuts are coming. Tim, see, he wanted to be one of these guys out here walking around, talking all this stuff. But the problem is that Tim didn't have enough, when he made this mistake with the numbers. I think people look at this. I cannot believe shirtless with this. He was getting this. Look, this is when he got refused for the job from Audi. Do you remember those days? Tim got refused from the job with Audi. Oh, there's been some trolls. Oh, I'm sure. What's not a medical? Oh, that's not a medical license. Oh, whatever. It is considered a medical license from the Virginia Department of Health. F&I loves me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. And once I start prescribing medications in about a year's time to people, I guess that's not a medical license either. Okay. All right. And then this is when Tim couldn't get a job at Audi. Couldn't even get a job at Audi. And he was so mad at Audi, he got really upset. He got so upset. And he could just get 69,000 views just from that. Talking about a fan review. I guess this was when he was actually getting potentially brand deals. Very early in his channel, he could get 60,000 views for that. And then I think there was his eye surgery one over here. And I think it was one that he said, there's Miss Tammy again. I mean, he was getting just so many more views. It was amazing. I was wrong. I thought he could get something with that video, 30,000 views. My new job for the summer is property manager. Look, that's when he was a property manager. Isn't that over at Teddy and Jolene's? It's just interesting. Oh, here he is. This is it. Bad news is bad news. Just left the eye doctor. So look, 26,000 views talking about his, eye surgery. And if you look at this video today, a year later, the video views Tim's getting now on that video, not even 3,500 views. And this one, this is where he goes off to the gun shooting range. not even 800 views, 700 views. This with the I'm surprised that he's got this many views on a car wash. Maybe people like the AMSR. Maybe that's why they like the car wash. Maybe it's relaxing. Who knows? Couldn't work at Audi, but you can make $300 a month for the EID alone is sleep. Right. That's right. You know, it's much easier when you can get the money from the US taxpayer, you know, and then declare war with everyone. Oh my goodness, Tim. Well, I know it's surprising. Look, Tim only put out 2 videos today. This is terrible views for Tim. Look at that. He didn't even get to 4,000 views yet today, barely. Oh, just over. Sorry, my math's terrible. Just over 4,000 views. That's low for Tim's channel. Very low. I mean, like I said, he could have what if you saw just from his most popular videos, he was getting hundreds of thousands of views on some just really nonsense type stuff. I mean, and his channel, this is at his 66.4. He hasn't moved from this. Not that I get tons of views or I get lots of engagement either. Obviously, I have a tiny channel too. I've not been as long with YouTube, and also obviously I make reactions. It can be a limited audience. I'm aware, of what I do, but it has to be difficult to have fallen from those lofty heights with his channel, and he just didn't get the traction being able to talk about items within the news and areas of business because he really doesn't have the acumen to talk around these topics at all. And I don't know if he has also enough education to want to keep up every day, because there's people, they really do look for lots of news clips and put their things together. And there's obviously some time that's spent, organizing what they want to talk about and say, and then going out and actually filming it. So it obviously does take some time and effort. And I think for Tim, he really much rather just point and shoot. And I think the more he just was pointing and shooting, that really only the core of his actual audience then remained with him. I think that was about it. And then after that, it's just, not even 3,500 people are watching his videos around his actual eye surgery, which this one should have beforehand, you would have thought would have garnered him much bigger views and coffee donations, a chance to sad fish, but yeah. And my channel too, the fact that I had to hide some of my content and private it and then re-release it back out again and then private it again and re-release it. His channel strikes too had affected my being seen up the YouTube algorithm, because beforehand my videos would get a lot more in respect to that because I would be up YouTube's algorithm higher. But Tim, obviously with his shenanigans, it did affect my channel in some way. So I'm kind of having to start back over again and get my channel pumping back out. And I obviously have interest around topics around health. And, despite me not being a particular fan of Sarasota Tim as a person, obviously I only want for his procedure to be a success, because obviously I wouldn't want to wish even harm on people that I don't even particularly like or agree. But, because it wouldn't be professional. It would not be professional. All right, guys. I had a lot of fun tonight. I do thank you all for being here. I did want to thank MK. I hadn't seen them for a while. They've been off the grid. And I did want to thank them for their support. And Flat Pat for 2 very generous super chats there. And I really do appreciate that. And for all of you who have taken the time to join the Life and Vibe community, those of you who have taken the time just to come in tonight, watch the live, participate in the chat, just have fun with me, wish Tim the best with his eye surgery tomorrow. I really do appreciate that. And I know we all maybe have, differing views, but we all seem to come together in our love of Sarasota Tim and his content. I did want to remind everybody that I am organizing the live with Old Guy Talks Money. That's the name. I got it. Sorry, David, if I got it wrong earlier. And so I'm going to be hosting the live stream, but I'm going to let him do a lot of the talking around one of Sarasota Tim's Social Security videos, because there was a lot of problematic misinformation in that. And so I did want to get an opportunity for David to help guide us through that. So I did want to make sure that I did get that information out. So yeah, I think everybody, I hope everybody, says stay safe, has a great night. Just be, I can't with Tim and oh my gosh, why are we anyway? Yeah, I can't be in agreement with some of that talk at Tim at the end. That was a little rough for me. It's a little bit too intense. Not my style. Not my style. I'm a little bit more of a pacifist than that. Okay, everybody. Yes, Junebug is definitely having a good night over there. She's having a good sleep. Though at one point, I think she was having nightmares when Tim was talking. Night or good day, I should say, Catherine, because I know it's daytime in New Zealand. Enjoy the day, and I hope everything goes well with your surgeries. And let us know how that goes, Laurie. You take care over there in Germany, girl. You take care, and all of you who are watching, again, I appreciate it. And I'm going to try to see how I can balance trying to do the live streams. And I might have to do a foodie beauty. I keep saying it, but I might have to go to a retro for me, in the respect that I have not made a live on this person. I know people have missed it. I have to find a time, because there's always a lot of channels going live with her. So anyway, we'll see. All right, guys, talk to you later. Have a good night. Be safe. Wash your hands, and I'll catch you on the next one.